Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL Without Borders. We are back with Gameweek 36 preview and there is a lot to talk about. As you can tell on the thumbnail, we have Haaland here, spoiler alert. But yeah, let's chat through it. Ahsan, quickly speaking, how was your last game week?
I think it was above average. I think it was less. I think my Palace assets were the biggest disappointment. I was expecting them to at least get a result at home, but it is what it is. They've been a very big downside to our wild card. Like me and you got them together,
Yeah.
and they've hauled in all other matches except for the matches that we've had them in. So it's been very disappointing.
Yeah, Eze versus Sar has been, I think, a 24 pointer streak.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
been crazy. Same like I got a 10k green arrow, can't complain. Got a few differentials, so yeah. Without wasting any more time, Game Week 36, so
yeah,
things we'll discuss in this meeting, not the meeting, but in this video. Uh,
yeah.
the 3 game weeks to go, so we'll look at the fixtures and the teams to target. We'll look at Game Week 36 matchups and go over some of the stats, and then we'll break down the top assets by position, looking at the next 3 weeks, which midfielders or which attackers or which defenders should you target because once you make a transfer, like we don't really have any more transfers left, so you'll basically have that asset for the rest of the season. Then we have a chip discussion. So people who have bench boost left, who have triple captain left, who have AM left, we'll go over that as well. And then captaincy for game week 36. And then we'll talk about our punts for this game week. So FPL Eagle's Eye, and then our bus team and our personal transfer plans. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so Robty just presented this really nice graphic which looks at the projected goals and projected clean sheets for the next 3 weeks rather than just this week. So as you can see, like it takes no genius to tell that Man City have the best projected goals and the best projected clean sheets. So number one team to target in my opinion. Ashton, what else pops out for you looking at this graphic? Which other teams?
I think Liverpool, like you said before the video, that they've been ranked next to City, even though on paper the fixtures aren't easy. Arsenal at home, Brighton away, Palace at home. But I think Salah is the only one I would go for because other assets are mainly, maybe down to some rotation risks. And Triple City should be locked despite the FA Cup final commitment. Similarly, I think it's based on these odds, both for clean sheet and projected goals. I think a few differentials can be identified and brought into our teams, depending if you're having an aggressive approach in these last 3 game weeks or if you want to just maintain your rank. I think we'll discuss that later on. But yeah, fairly straightforward. I think the 3 game weeks, the comparison side by side is much better as opposed to taking it game week by game week because if you are wanting to take a -4 or if you have free transfers left, so I think having knowing these percentages, these averages are on the horizon, I think it'll be a very good data point for some strong template and differential picks also.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting out that Liverpool has expected 1.7 goals because Arsenal have their PSG game, and if they
Yeah,
win, they'll probably see some rotation there regardless.
yeah,
So here you can see that here as well as in Arsenal goals for. And then for Man City, they have their FA Cup fixture, but between all their fixtures, they have a 7 day gap. So the gap is good enough. So I don't think we should expect rotations again. So these ROPT numbers looked at betting or data of the market. And now the next, this is the fixture difficulty ticker, which looks at the underlying data and the difficulty of the team, takes into account home and away, etc. Here you see Ipswich is top. They have Leicester, so I think that does impact this fixture ticker. But apart from that, you see Nottingham up there, Bournemouth up there, and then Wolves. This one I feel it's a bit weird because Man City is down at number 9 for
yeah.
some reason. So I'll honestly just ignore
I
this one.
think I think it's just because of what you said before the video that apart from that Palace game at home, City haven't been very, very convincing in their wins. 1-0 win against Wolves, 2-0 win earlier. So maybe it's just because even the clean sheet odds against Southampton, if you go back, it only says 44%. Whereas in any other day, it easily would have outscored, for example, Forest, despite their defensive decline, having a
Yeah.
higher percentage. So I think, yeah, based on the eye test, City do seem solid for goals and clean sheet against Southampton. But yeah, I think their form is a bit of a point of concern.
Yeah, let's move ahead.
Okay, I think this data was shared by the Fantasy Premier League site that the race for Europe is heating up, no doubt. Arsenal, City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest, Villa, all are in the thick of it. And given the fact that there's everything to play for, it's best to target assets from these teams, whether you have your free transfers, whether you are willing to take a hit, or if you have your wild card left. So having those template picks from Arsenal, City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest, Villa, I think you have a strong core for the remaining 3 game weeks, and then you can just fill up the other spots with some differentials if you are on a wild card. If you're not on a wild card, I'm pretty sure that you would have at least some decent, for example, from Forest, you would have maybe a defender from Chelsea, maybe Palmer. But I understand if you don't have any Chelsea asset, I think some people would still be tripled up on Newcastle, tripled up or at least doubled up on City, and
Double
maybe
sleep.
have the like, yeah, and maybe have the likes of double Arsenal defense or one Arsenal defense, and if you've still held on to Saka. So pretty much those picks are there, but you can still try to target all of these games. You see that City has the easiest run. They have Southampton, Bournemouth, Fulham, so a triple up would be ideal.
Hmm.
Newcastle fixtures are a mixed bag. Chelsea fixtures are a mixed bag. I think the next best is Forest and West Ham United at home.
What
So
I
yeah,
like about
game
Newcastle
of fine
fixtures is like
margins
Newcastle are playing 2 games at home, and at home they
at
do
home.
tend to
Yeah,
score a lot of goals.
yeah, yes, no doubt.
All right. So now let's
Okay,
just move into some of the top picks for each position. And I have highlighted some of the data here. So in terms of predicted points, this data is taken from Fantasy Football Hub, and they expect Haaland to play 90 minutes, and hence their model brings Haaland to number one when it comes to expected points for the next 3 game weeks. Uh, that's the unique one. Apart from that, nothing would really surprise you. Isak is up there. Cunha is up there because of his underlying numbers and his bonus points magnet. Visa is a Visa is probably one of the most popular transfers this week. Last week it was
yeah.
Mbumo, and this week I think the template is going Visa. And fair enough, like he's been doing really good. But I have some more stats on Visa in the next slide. And then Marmoush and Watkins. Essen, any idea why Watkins was benched? Not benched, like subbed out.
Sub
Like he was subbed out around 60th minute, I think.
Yeah, Watkins has been a very big question mark. We would have expected Watkins would have been nailed. But if you remember a few game weeks ago, Marlin was doing very well.
Hmm.
Even though he had come off the bench, he scored like 3 and 3 or 4 and 4. So maybe it's something behind the scenes, maybe an injury niggle, maybe some managerial player dispute that Watkins is not nailed. So, given his price point at 8.9, you would expect him to play 90 minutes and at least be on
Yeah,
penalties, but that's not the case. So, currently, I think there are many better and cheaper forward options like Cunha, Visa, that if anyone is pivoting from, for example, people are letting go of Mateta because we saw in the Palace game that he was on the pitch, but he didn't take the penalty. So, I think his appeal goes down drastically. So, what
yeah.
I think Cunha and Visa are much better options.
Agreed, agreed. I think like out of these five, highly doubt someone even has three or two. Uh,
I think Isaac everyone would have, and Marmoush just because of the wild card.
yeah,
But pivoting from Marmoush to Haaland or Mateta to Haaland or Isaac to Haaland is not a bad move, given what we've discussed earlier in terms of fixtures.
yeah. Maybe I wouldn't go from Isak, but yeah, Marmush
Yeah.
and Mateta
Well,
definitely.
all because of the funds. If too many funds,
Oh
if you
yeah,
have to take a hit or four, then yeah, Isaac is the easiest cash cow.
true. But Newcastle do have good fixtures, and
Hmm.
they're in the top five race, so it's risky. So this graphic I have, um, green and red to highlight. Marmoush had expected points of 34, and he's
Yeah,
gotten 24 points. So he's been underperforming
yeah,
his
he's been a
data.
very disappointment.
Yeah, but that does mean that he's getting the chances. He's probably just not finishing
Yeah,
them or like
converting.
not
Yeah.
getting the points. So I think
He,
if you're not going for Haaland, I think he should stay in your team. Even if Haaland comes back, he would probably keep his place because if you remember, before Haaland got injured, he was playing alongside Haaland. And even right now, he's
hmm.
playing sometimes left wing or right wing. He's not really playing
Yeah,
striker.
because for
Yeah, go- yeah, that's on Marmoush. And then Visa, if you see, his expected points are 30. He scored 41 points, which is like he's
yeah,
he's massively overperforming his data,
or for
which
yeah,
sort of puts me off him because I don't think this sort of overperformance is sustainable. But because there are only three game weeks left, he could just keep outperforming. If this was a longer, there were like 5 to 10 game weeks left. This overperformance generally doesn't last that long, but just a point to note and just a food
yeah,
for thought for your decision
fair.
making. And same goes for Cunha. His expected points at 17. He
He
scored
has
like almost
32.
double his
Yeah, almost
expected
double.
points. And yeah, just a quick stat for you to help with your decision making. Midfielders. Essen, go for it.
Yeah. I think out of these, Salah and Mbomo must be template picks now. Palmer is there mainly because of his performance against Liverpool, but I think even though I'm a Chelsea fan, there are better options, and Palmer does take up a lot of the budget. So if you are chasing, he's still 34.1% owned, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the percentage, or at least maybe 10-15%, is from the inactive accounts. But De Bruyne is a very, very good shout. Like you said, that City have 6 to 7 days of gap between their fixtures, so rest is not a concern. Martinelli, even though he is there in the prediction, it all depends on how Arsenal fare tonight, today against the game against the in the game against
PSG.
PSG. But Bowen has been very, very, very under the radar. I think in his last 3 games, he has 28 points, 9, 10, and 9, if I'm not wrong. So he's at a very decent price point from 7. For example, if you Arslan, you have Diaz, maybe other people would still have Diaz, so you can obviously just pivot from Diaz to Bowen. But
Mm,
Salah should be locked. KDB, if not, then you should get him. Mbomo's already locked. Palmer is a decent shout, but he's a differential or a punt at best. And I think there are other decent lower priced options also to choose from.
true. I think shout out to Bowen owners, honestly.
Yeah.
He's been doing good. Some more stats on midfielders, especially these three I've highlighted. Uh, Salah, Bumo, and Asensio, all three of them have been massively underperforming their expected data. Not sorry, not Mbumo,
Not
but
Mbomo. Yeah.
Salah and Asensio. Like Asensio, see, like he's gotten 19 points, like expected were 30.
Yeah,
Um,
I think because he missed 2 penalties in a game, I think that's a big factor here.
oh yeah,
The game
that's
against
a fair point.
Southampton, he missed 2 penalties, so obviously that's a big goal.
That's a fair point. And with
Yeah,
him, there's also a minutes risk that always
for sure,
remains.
for sure.
So
Yep.
that's something to look out for. Best defenders. Uh, I think nothing
Hmm.
really to shout out here. This is
Yeah,
exactly what we saw in Rob T numbers. Man City, Liverpool,
yeah.
Forest
Top two
have
for a
the
clean sheet.
yeah they
Yeah.
all they have the best clean sheet fixtures and they're the best defensive teams as well. Um, you should have Guardiola. If you don't, you must have Guardiola. Like even Guardiola versus Ruben Diaz, I think could be a big differential because Akanji was back last game, and if he starts playing, Guardiola moves to left back. If that happens, um, that's one thing. And then obviously most people already have 1 to 2 Arsenal defenders. Nobody would have Trent, I'm assuming. And if you
Hmm.
have a Forest defender, that's I think a good differential to have in the last 3 game weeks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Next discussion, captaincy shout.
Captaincy shout.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
I think it's one of those weeks again, as we saw last week, that there is no one standout option. Last week we saw people had captain KDB, Marmoush, people had captain I think Mbomo. So there were like three, four Isak, different captains. So it's the same this week. Would maybe if you go back 10 or 15 game weeks, he would have been the standout caption because he was in red hot form. Lately, he's been there. He's been trying to convert chances, but it's not been happening. But I suspect that if people are getting him in, or he's already in people's teams, he would be a very high EO captain, and he's on penalties. And Leicester, even though they have started to score a few goals, but Forest are generally on average very decent at home. So he can be a good captaincy shout. Secondly, KDB, he is again becoming the engine of the team in terms of creativity, in terms of attacks. He's in very good form. We saw the goal he scored. Doku's cutback. He was there attacking the box, attacking the spaces. You would normally want your striker to be there, but KDB was far advanced. So I think he can be a very good differential shout. Mbomo, high EO captain on pens, facing a poor Ipswich side. Sorry about the typo, Ipswich side.
Hmm.
So he can, again, for those who captained him last week, I think even though Brentford scored four, he only had an assist. So that was a bit unlucky. But again, he can be your go to captain. And lastly, Marmoush, Cunha, Isak. I feel that all three are proper punts. Marmoush, he doesn't have the form, but he's playing Southampton away. Cunha is has a very good fixture and he has the form. And Isak, obviously, even though he's playing Chelsea at home, you said that Newcastle at home are a different beast. So those wanting to have a high risk, high return scenario can captain either of these three, especially
Yeah.
if you're chasing rank or in your mini leagues. And
Yeah.
Arsalan, I think you put some other data, I think, which you can walk us through.
Yeah, like one quick point on Man City. So I think Marmoush and KDB are two captainable assets from City, but because we have an early kickoff, we will
Yeah,
expect leaks from Man City as we do. And I think the one to look out for would be Haaland. If
for sure.
Haaland starts, I think then Marmoush captaincy might not be
Yeah,
the best, but you can still captain KDB.
yeah, because him and Haaland linking up is a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. And if Haaland starts and if you can afford him, I think you should go for him. So
Agreed.
that's something to look out for. Wait for the leaks. We'll also try to share that on our Twitter page if we get some solid ones. But yeah, that's something on Man City. Apart from that, again, like there's no crazy shout outs here. So on the rightmost creative, you can see in terms of expected points just for this week, Haaland comes one, assuming he plays 90, which Fantasy Football Hub does. And then it's Salah against Arsenal at home. And reason being, again, Arsenal might play a rotated team. So that takes into account. Isak, Chelsea at home. And then, yeah, we've discussed all these options. There's nothing crazy to shout out here. So
Yeah.
I currently, I'm not sure, honestly. But if Haaland starts, I'll go for Haaland. If Haaland doesn't start, then I might go for KDB. I'll have to buy him and then captain him. So that's the plan for now.
Sounds good.
What about you? Uh, your like, what's your captaincy one and two?
The my two captaincy shout would be KDB and Mbomo because I don't have wood, so it'll probably be between these two only.
Cool. Moving ahead, chip discussion. People who have chips left. SN, you wanna walk them through really quickly what options they have? Not a lot of options left now.
Yeah, I think triple captain. If you have it, there's no double game week or blank game week to come, so you have to target the single game week. So I think the best strategy would be to target the player plus their form plus their fixture in a single game week. For example, KDB, Haaland, Marmoush have facing Southampton away or Mbomo facing Ipswich away. So the ceiling is not high, but at least you have a bit of data in terms of their form and the fixture. You know how Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester are the leaky teams. So going with someone like Mbomo this game week, or Wood this game week, or even a City asset this game week is not a bad shout. Similarly,
Quickly,
bench
quickly
boost,
on that,
yeah,
SN. Uh, Leicester scored 2 goals against Southampton.
Yeah, but
So
it's just that those two very low teams facing each other, so really can't expect much. But I think the bigger teams obviously have a certain pedigree, so that can give you the courage to go for that triple captainship. Bench boost, again, it's team or game week dependent, shouldn't require much thought. If you feel you have your goalkeeper, your three players on your bench having decent enough fixtures, I think you should not overthink it. If you have your free hit or wildcard left, again, it's team week or game week dependent. If you are looking to wildcard right now, it's basically a 3 game week window, and you can go back to our stats which Rob T shared regarding the clean sheet and projected goals. It'll give you an idea of how to form a core team. Lastly, this is your last week to activate the AM chip because it lasts 3 game weeks. City games, Forest games, Everton games are three best shouts. And honestly, there's not much table bonus to too many fixtures because obviously you only have 3 game weeks left. But if you can go for those if you have if you want to chase your mini leagues or you want to go aggressive on your rank. The easiest, like we said, Guardiola, City, Nuno, Forest, Brentford, Marco Silva, uh, these should be locked. Personally, Ipswich United, even though they're ranked very high up, but would avoid just because of their for Ipswich relegated. United is still in Europa, so I think should not be thought too much about. City very safe option, Forest safe option, Everton a bit risky, but give their fixtures are decent also.
I think there's no clear table bonus game at least this game week. So I think
Yeah,
going safe, saving your transfers for other attacking players. I think that would be the strategy.
yeah,
FPL Eagles Eye.
yeah. Haaland is
FPL Eagle
eagle eye.
FPL Eagles Eye is just
Such
for
is the
context for the new users. It's basically who we think are the players who are going under the radar and they should do well in the coming game weeks. So that's basically some context. Essen, you wanna walk us through yours?
Visa, we've discussed a lot about him. I think he's going to be a popular transfer this week, and rightly so. So he's a no-brainer. And Gibbs White has also gone under the radar, just like KDB. He makes the team tick. He's the engine. He's on set pieces. So he's. I think Hudson-Odoi is out. So Elanga and Gibbs White are the two, go-to midfield picks. So Elanga has proven himself, but Gibbs White also is not a bad shout.
Yeah. And yeah, Ilanga and Gibbswhite both play really attacking, especially Ilanga. Like he plays on the wing
Yeah,
and then he basically almost plays as an attacker and would sort of
yeah, second
fall back
attacker,
at
yeah,
least. That's
for
basically
sure.
what I've seen in the recent games I've watched. For me, it's Haaland. Pep Guardiola has mentioned like several times that if Haaland is fit, he makes the team better. If Haaland is fit, I would expect him to start. And um, there's been more than 7 days. He's had more than two full training sessions with the team. So I do expect him to start against Southampton. And basically, yeah, in FA Cup we might not see him, but at least in the Premier League, I think he might be back. So if he starts, we'll again get a league for City. If he starts, I think he's a no-brainer. If he doesn't, then yeah, you just don't buy him. And the second one is Asensio for me. Watkins is now a bit shady when it comes to his minutes. Asensio as well, but I feel like Asensio has more chances of I think he should do good. Yeah, I'm not too keen on him honestly, but I think he might just do good a bit under the radar.
Yeah.
Our plans for next for game week 36. Jason, walk us through your team, please.
Okay, I have two free transfers, and I've planned to get Guardiol. So I'll take Kusanov out, and Guardiol will come into the team. And Mateta to Wood. Wood Mateta can be Wood. Mateta can be Visa. I can also take out Marmoush if Haaland starts. I can't take out Marmoush. I can't keep him. So it'll probably be a deadline decision. But Guardiol, for sure, I'm getting. And if I have to get Haaland, then I would have to take a -4 because funds issue. So I think after maybe 10 or 15 game weeks or even more, I'll be taking a hit. So I think I have to be more careful in my thought process. But yeah, straightforward transfers.
You just reminded me. I think I've taken, and let me work through the team first. So I have the typical Munoz, Guardiola, and Burns starting. So Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, City, and Newcastle defense. I feel pretty confident about that. And then I have Bumo, Salah, Rogers, and Sar. Sar has been disappointing, but again he plays Tottenham away, so I'll still probably play him. And then I have Vardy, Isak, and Marmoush in the team currently. Vardy I got just to release some funds for a potential Haaland move. So I have one free transfer. The goal is to do Marmoush to Haaland if Haaland starts, and then I'll basically take a -4 to, because I still don't have the funds. This would be my second hit for the season. So it just reminded me when you mentioned. So I think I feel fine about that. Although I'm not, like, again, 3 weeks are left. Hits are not really, you can't really defend. Like, you shouldn't have too many hits right now. But I think for Haaland, if he starts, I think he would be good differential against Southampton away. Like, Leicester scored 2 goals against Southampton, so I expect City to score like 2+ goals easily. I have Luis Diaz on my bench, Kivior and Konsa. Basically, I'm playing no Arsenal defense. Both of them are on my bench. And I probably should have done it last week as well, where Martinez 9 pointer was sitting on my bench with Raya 1 pointer in my team. So yeah, that's currently the plan, and that's basically it for what we have for today. If you've made it till this point in the video, we would appreciate if you drop a like and a subscribe. We put a lot of time getting this content out for you, and so we would just appreciate that. Any closing thoughts, Jason?
Yeah, I think it'll be a very interesting game week. We have some games that are tipped to be high scoring, and we have some early kickoffs also. So, in terms of team news, I think we should get some leaks. We'll try to post it from our Twitter page, also from reliable accounts. But yeah, I can't believe it's already May and we're discussing our last 3 game weeks. But yes, time flies by, and I hope it's a good game week with green arrows for all.
Last 3 game weeks left, and
Yeah,
one last closing thought I'll share is, obviously your overall rank matters, but I am pretty sure what matters more right now is if you are competing in your mini leagues, and if you're
yeah,
really chasing your mini league, you want to win or you want to beat someone specifically. So I think that should take be taken into account when you're making a transfer. So like you know what your other competitors have, and like if you just buy the same players, you really won't make past them. So take that into account. Have like at least 1 to 2 differentials from a mini league point of view, so that you have a chance of going up. Uh, that's just my opinion. And again,
yeah.
it's 3 game weeks left, so there will be more variance when it comes to data and predicted points. Just keep that into account. Like you could, like in individual game weeks, a lot of randomness and variance can happen. So
Great.
I think punts are fine to take right now, uh, as well. Yeah, that's all for today, and see you all next week.
Okay,
Bye.
guys, thank you.